KZMB All Zombie Radio.
Hey everybody, it's your girl, Punky Brewster. I guess it's my intro now because I can't land on anything better. Sucks. So I wanted to share a little bit about what I did this last weekend. Pretty cool experience. I went to New York City for the first time. I know, what a cretin that I'd never been before. I went for the first time literally for like 30 hours only. So it was a wild ride. And while I was there, I got to do the Stranger Things experience on the very last day that it was open in Brooklyn. So pretty cool. So I just wanted to share a little bit about it because it was a really interesting experience. And I did get some footage, not of the experience itself, and I'll explain more about that in just a moment. But I have some cool stuff to share with you guys. And I think it's worthwhile. They're opening a new location somewhere. I'll insert it here if I can remember to look it up while editing this video. So, Stranger Things experience. So I went to New York, not for the Stranger Things experience. I went to New York to see the Living with the Walking Dead exhibit at the Museum of Moving Image, which was super cool. And I was blessed enough to receive this beautiful exhibit poster done by the one, the only Kirk Manley. Super cool guy. And it's signed by him because one, he's really great and he would totally sign this if I asked him to. But Dave, the guy who heads up Squawking Dead, the podcast that I'm a part of, got a bunch of these signed when he covered the exhibit recently. I will put the link to that video in the bio, so you guys should go check that out. It's pretty cool. This exhibit was awesome, and I'm super thankful to have, one, gotten this excellent piece of artwork that I absolutely adore. I own a bunch of Kirk's other stuff, so there's a ton. It will be behind me at some point. I can't talk about why I have to wait. I had to sign an NDA, but anyway, I'm just gonna wait, and it'll be up there eventually, and then I'll get to share with you guys what the NDA was for. But anyway, so this is really cool, and this was an awesome exhibit. I highly recommend. It's there until the end of December, so if you live in the New York area, definitely check it out. Really cool. I got a little emotional, I'm not gonna lie. Plus, we got to interview Theo Rapp Olsen. That's right, Sebastian, guys, from season 11 of The Walking Dead at the museum in the exhibit. It was really cool. So that video will be up eventually, and when it is, I'll add that link to the bio as well. But we just did that, so that's gonna take a while to edit. Yeah. All right, so Stranger Things experience. Let's switch gears, get back to where we were gonna land eventually for this video. So Stranger Things experience was in a greenhouse in a warehouse in Brooklyn by a Wegmans. It was weird. We had to park in the Wegmans parking lot and then walk really far. I should have recorded the walk because it was quite long. Down all of these little streets, and it was dark, and there was like empty abandoned warehouses. They're not really empty or abandoned. It's just that it was nighttime, so everything was closed. So it gave kind of a creepy vibe, which fit the whole thing, right? So then we turn a corner and wham, there it is. The giant Stranger Things experience building, which is actually a warehouse, which is actually a greenhouse, apparently. There was still some signage left over that they didn't cover. That's how I knew. Anyway, you walk in and they metal detect you. Got through. I gave them my ticket, they scan it, and then they have you wait in line. And much like any other immersive experience, you're waiting in line like with things around you. So very similar to waiting in line at a haunted house or at Disney or any of those kind of places where you're like in a line for potentially a long time. In order for patrons not to get super upset, they like to leave you things to look at. So there were things to look at in the room. We were one of the last groups to go through. We had booked it intentionally that way to give us enough time during the beginning of the day to do other things. And so we were at like 8:30 at night. So there weren't many people there. So we were able to walk through the first room pretty quickly. We get into a second room that looks kind of similar to the outside of a lab, I guess. There was kind of like what looked like almost like, you know, one of those like FEMA tents, kind of looked like that off to the side. There was security cameras staring down at you in the crowd. It's a little creepy. There were televisions placed around. And so those televisions did end up playing a video. Now, that video was telling us that you cannot record or take pictures during the experience, which is why I don't have any footage, and I'm sorry, but they were like, I feel like they were watching. There were a lot of security cameras in that place. So I didn't push my luck. I didn't want to get kicked out because I really wanted to finish it. I thought it was kind of, I mean, it was cheesy, but it was cool. So I wanted to get through it. So I didn't film anything until the end, and I have lots of footage to show you of that. So instead, I'm going to describe walking through the experience, which hopefully I'm a good enough storyteller that this isn't super boring. Okay, so when you're waiting in line and you're in the outside of the facility, a woman walks in, and it doesn't have to be a woman, it's just someone who ends up representing a lab assistant, and was a woman in this case. So she walks in very bubbly. That's the intention of her character. And she welcomes you to Hawkins National Laboratory. You are given at this point a wristband, which says on it your ID number. It gives you restricted access. It's for a sleep study, and then it's got a little barcode, and it says Hawkins National Lab. There's also this symbol here, which has to do with something that came up shortly thereafter. So she welcomes you to the lab, welcomes you to the sleep study, and says that you're going to head into the next room. And then from there, they'll work on the sleep study. So she also introduces her coworker, who is less than delighted to be there. Very sketchy. And I think that's intentional as well. So you end up in the next room, which is almost like a lobby, like a welcoming room. So you stand in an area and you're with other people of your same color. So there was red, blue, and yellow were the different colors that you could have. So I was in the red group, so I'm in the red area. Everybody else is with their colored group, and then you are waiting as they give you a presentation. So the very bubbly assistant goes up front and she tells you that this is exciting and that you're here to do the sleep study and it's very cool and yada yada yada. And then she introduces again her coworker, who comes up and starts telling you about what they're doing and the advancements that this has made for science and yada, yada, yada. And while that's happening, wah, wah, this like alarm goes off and there is a security breach. And remain calm. It's not a big deal. Just a little security breach. Nothing to worry about at Hawkins National Laboratory. It's fine. Except she doesn't look like it's fine. She looks concerned. And on the video that they're playing that's sharing all of this delightful information, you see the kids from Stranger Things like flash up for a second in black and white as though they're on a security camera, and then they flash off. So they're up to some hijinks. At this point, we're told that you are in a specific group based on specific strengths that you have. So red was physical strength. That's the group I was in. Come on. Yeah, right. Blue was emotional intelligence, I believe. And then I think yellow was mental strength? It was something like that. Straight up intelligence? I don't remember. Something along those lines, okay? So you then head from where you are into the rainbow room. So we went into the rainbow room. We're asked to stand at tables that are color coordinated to your wristbands. And while we're in there, we are given puzzles. So you're with one other person. Thank God I was with a group of people that I knew, so I wasn't with a complete stranger. And we were asked to solve this puzzle. We were given 30 seconds, and it was not nearly enough time to solve the puzzle. Also, I'm pretty sure that the puzzles were impossible to solve. So there's that. So you were asked to solve the puzzles. The guy who was in this portion is like the head of this lab, and he was super funny, really great at his job, very believable. Basically treated us all like we were morons. So it was awesome. So he heads in, and so he shares with us, okay, you know, you're in this group, this is your strength, we're going to give you some tests. So after we do our little puzzle, he makes a leader out of each group. So there's a leader in the blue group, tall, skinny guy at the front. There's a leader in the red group, littlest kid. There's a leader in the yellow group, littlest kid. And then while he's giving this presentation, he's saying that we're gonna try some things. And so he has us do these motions that are very similar to what 11 does in the show. So the yellow group does this to focus their psychic energy, and the red group puts out their hand in front with one behind them to focus their physical strength, and the blue group did something I don't remember. So whatever their motion was, I don't remember anymore, because this was a whirlwind of an experience and also travel, so yikes. So each group had their specific movement that they were meant to do, and then you were meant to do that to practice like trying these things. So the emotional intelligence one was, they were trying to, I think it was put something up on the screen. I can't remember exactly what they were trying to do. The red group had to we had to move Coke cans on a table, you know, with our minds. And then the yellow group created some sort of like mental projection on the wall. So we went through that, and so the blue group is about to go, and then the guy who is voted their leader has like a meltdown about moving on to stress tests and runs out of the room, and our guy follows him with a stun gun, and then you hear the stun gun going off. So that happened. And then we're left in the room, and then we're told that we need to move on. So we move on to these stress tests. So we get into the next room, and it's got benches, color coordinated again. So you go sit in your color coordinated area. So we go to our color coordinated area, and while we're on those benches, all of a sudden the guy leaves the room, the door is locked, we're locked in, and then we see a flashlight in the air vent above us. And we hear Dustin and Erica talking. And so they're sharing that they're trying to get through the lab to get 11 and Max out. Based on who's alive still in this, and what the kids are doing, I assume this was a season 4 promo experience, just based on what happened and what's involved. So either it was a season 4 promo, or it was meant to be a promo in between season 4 part 1 and part 2. But either way, it focuses on the sleep lab and all of this happening, and I don't want to give away too much, so I'm not gonna share who's alive and who isn't alive. We'll just leave it at that. So we move into this bench room. We see Dustin and Erica up in the vent with the flashlight, and we hear them talking. And then they talk to us and they say, hey, you guys, do this thing. And so they have us move benches in front of the door to block people from coming in behind us, which is kind of funny. And like, legitimately, the people I was with barricaded the door, like one bench up, another one angled like into the corner of it. So we did the thing. We did the damn thing. We also had to disconnect cables in a circuit box to take power away from the security, I guess. And then those in one of the groups that were not mine, I believe it was blue, had to focus their energy to be able to freeze the door at a certain point and then like blow it open. So that happened. Everybody used their psychic powers and we moved on to the next area. So we had to run down an empty hallway into another room that had what looked like kind of like those glass sliding automatic doors, but they were all locked. And so we were in that room, and then there were security cameras up and like a security panel, like as though it was like a security guard's room. And on the screens were Dustin and Erica at one screen, and then Mike and Lucas and Will on another screen. And because everybody's together, I guess this was a pre-season 4 promo. Anyway, I don't know, man. I don't know. It was just an experience, okay? So we head into this room, and then this is when stuff starts to get a little weird, because we have to, like, with our minds, move levers and hit buttons and whatnot to, like, stop people from being able to get in. But also, there's demodogs on the property, and you could see them on the security cameras killing people, biting their heads off. It was awesome. But also on these frosted glass doors that are around us, we can see silhouettes of people running, and eventually silhouettes of demodogs trying to get in. So again, we're tasked with using our mental acuity to stop everything from happening. And a certain someone who's the head of the lab, I'm not going to mention who it is, comes on screen and tells us that we need to work with him. And the kids from Stranger Things are telling us, flip him the bird. Y'all flip him the bird. Including the smallest child in there, who does it real casual, like right in front of him, kind of trying to hide it from his mom. It was the funniest thing. So we're in that room. And anyway, we flipped this guy the bird, and then we're told that we have to get out of there, and we go to the next room. The next room almost looks like a cavern. It's kind of like supposed to be a portal to the Upside Down. Oh, that's right. There is a portal to the Upside Down. So there's in this room, there's a portal to the Upside Down that we end up having to go through. So it's like weird and like latexy, and you have to like slide your way in, and stuff is like pressing against you as you're walking through. It was like going through birth, like being birthed. It was very weird. Anyway, we get inside and we're in the Upside Down, and Max and 11 are there, and you put on 3D glasses, and you're in it. It's really cool, actually. It's like a curved gigantic screen in front of you, so everything kind of looks like it's a little bit around you. And Max and 11 end up talking to you. Max is the actress, Sadie Sink, who plays Max, and she's on the screen. And 11, for a portion of it, is a live person who is in front of you, who actually looked a little bit like 11, like Millie Bobby Brown. So that was kind of cute. So we go through that whole process, and we end up having to like freeze demodogs and demogorgons and blow them up with our minds, and it's all ridiculous, and half the adults don't want to do the hand motions anymore because they're embarrassed, but my group is still going strong, just really committing to throwing our hands out, and the kids are really into it, and so that was really fun. And so we blow all that stuff up, and then we help 11 close the portal to the Upside Down, and then in a flash, suddenly we're back in Hawkins, and all the kids are together, and it's a very happy ending. Super cute. Really weird. Totally cheesy. I liked it. It was fun. From there, you're allowed to head into the next area, which has a sign saying that you can, at this point, record and take photos. So that's where I started to get footage. It is a little overwhelming sensory-wise because everything is crazy 80s lighting. So tons of neon. It is, of course, a way for this place to make money. So there's tons of stuff to buy. There's little shops. You can buy t-shirts and bags and hats in the family video. And there is a area that's got like it's the skating rink. There is a Surfer Boy pizza van. There's a Scoops Ahoy. So you can get ice cream and pizza, and of course you can get like drinks because there's a bar in there. And there was a ton of stuff to look at. There were also QR codes that we found throughout the space that were pretty well hidden. There's one in a gigantic Stranger Things sign in the middle. On the back of the sign, it looks almost like a portal to the Upside Down. And in the middle of that portal is a QR code. So luckily, Dave, who we were with, noticed, and he took a picture of it and told us about it. And from then on, we were running around the building looking for these QR codes. So if you get all 5, you get something for free. And I cannot resist that option. So of course, I run around like a child looking for all of these. And it was indeed a child's prize, because this is what you got when you finished all of the QR codes. Was a #1 fan of Stranger Things sticker. So I did this as an adult. There was a lot of stuff for purchase. There was like a Hellfire Club area as well. There was an arcade so you could play video games, real video games. And so there was a lot of stuff to buy. Everything was expensive. I don't know if that had to do with New York prices or if that was just how this experience is. When we went, the experience was available in London, New York, and San Francisco, I believe. So 3 areas that are very expensive to live in, and so it makes sense that the products were then expensive. I bought this super cute crop top for $30, which is more than I would normally pay for a crop top. So worth it, I think. I have to say, very comfortable. Actually, for someone who's plus size, fits very well. Normally crop tops are like hit or miss for me. Sometimes they can be like super tight in like a weird spot, or the sleeves are like up in your armpit, and that's not comfortable for anybody. But this one is like really loosey goosey. I like it. I really like it. It's very comfortable, so I'm a fan. So I'll definitely be wearing this a ton. I also picked up keychains. They're the Hawkins National Lab symbol keychain. These were $10. Yikes, for a keychain. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm getting old, or like inflation's really hitting a lot of money. I also bought a very overpriced drink at the bar, but it was worth it for the experience. And you did get one of these Stranger Things experience cups when you did that. It's not super well made, and so I don't think these were really meant to be taken. I saw a lot of them left on tables and in the garbage, but I wanted to take it home for something else that had the labeling on it. We did stop at the Surfer Boy pizza van and we did eat pizza. We also got ice cream from Scoops Ahoy. I will share with you that the Surfer Boy pizza is pretty much frozen pizza. So not real pizza. I don't know for certain. I did not try it yet, but there is a Surfer Boy brand of frozen pizza that's available right now in stores. And so I'm wondering if it's the same pizza. I didn't buy it yet in stores to taste test to see if it's the same. It was okay. It's not bad. I like frozen pizzas. That wasn't an issue. But it was very expensive for a frozen pizza. We were also witnessed a young lady walking around delivering papers. So there were paid actors that were throughout the event. They had staged conversations, so it was a little interesting. And so we did end up getting the Hawkins Post. So there's a couple articles in here. One is written by Nancy Wheeler, which is kind of fun. The police blotter is on here. This article on the front is about Robin. working at the family video. There's like a Dear Abby, but it's called Dear Gabby, I think. Yeah, Dear Gabby. Steve has clearly written into Dear Gabby. Will Byers wrote in to the editor to criticize a movie review of Ridley Scott's Legend. So just some really funny, really goofy stuff in here. There's an arts and entertainment section. There's a horoscope section. It's super goofy, really cheesy, really enjoy this. Nice freebie that came along with the experience, so that was fun. The girl delivering them said that the newspaper boy had gone missing, but she was sure it was probably fine. It's just so goofy. So anyway, so I really enjoyed the experience. It was fun. I dig immersion and full immersive events, as cheesy as they can be. So you gotta let yourself live a little while you're there. But if you do, I think you'd really like it. The one in New York City did close. That was the last night. But again, they did open a new one, and I will list the new locations and the link to the Stranger Things experience in the description below. So go ahead and check all those out, as well as the videos that I discussed earlier. Thanks guys for watching, and have a good one.